learn the difference between the male and the female pine cones. You actually get to be outside, you actually get to see it, you actually get to feel it, you get to know exactly what you're talking about. Or something like the science group, they went outside and we actually got to see what a living organism is. We got to see what a non-living organism is, and we got to feel it. We got to see what actual role it has and what it's actually doing outside, whether it's just our teachers relaying it to us, this is that, write it down, the typical stuff. So I think another benefit of the being in the outdoors is that it just gets your brain working a lot better. Because as in our English, when we did our English assignment outside, how we had to walk and then choose stuff that we saw in the outdoors, and that we got to think about what we wanted to write about, and more visual stimulating. People got better ideas, because I know when I was in English all the time, our teacher would just sit us down and be like, okay, you got to write about this topic. And then I'd use the whole work period just saying, oh, I don't know what to write about. Oh, because you're just sitting in some cramped little building. It's kind of, it doesn't stifle your creativity or anything. You're just in four white walls, and you can't think about something, and then you start to get stressed out and stuff. So I think that just being outside really stifles your creativity, which is why I think that field place assignment also that we had to do was good, because you can sit in your room and try to think about stuff, try to write it down, but once you're actually outside and you're seeing stuff, it's visual, then a lot more things start to come to mind. Because I know, even I just was sitting here and I saw a gopher walk by, and it instantly sparked in my mind about back home, living in Herbert. We got lots of gophers running around, and made me think about my buddies back home, and really just sparked a lot of different things in my mind, whereas I would have never seen that if I was just sitting inside in my room trying to think up notes or whatever. So I think the what I was talking about before with my attitude with outdoor education is huge, because outdoor education is kind of thing that's not really huge. I never in my phys ed or in my different classes, we never really did anything outside. And if we did, it was just, oh, let's go read outside, which really doesn't have any benefits except maybe get a little bit more vitamin D or in your system or something. So it's more than just going outside. You need a purpose, for what you're behind. You need a purpose behind what you're doing. As in we could just go outside, write an English assignment, go write your story outside. Doesn't really have any benefits to it, but we said we're gonna walk around, we're gonna pick stuff, we're gonna put that in our mind, we're gonna use that to help the creative process. So I think that's a huge part of outdoor education. Louv talked about that in his book. He talked about how we need to have can't just go outside, try to do something. You need to find the right environment for what you're trying to do, because obviously you're not going to go canoeing where there's no water, or you're not going to try to make your students write an English assignment in a bare field where they got nothing to pick out, topics to write about. So yeah, I think that's pretty important. Same with the place assignment. It's kind of hard to write about stuff if you're just sitting in your room. It helps if you get outside and actually start to writing about stuff. So then we had to do a article assignment, and I picked mine. It was how to incorporate outdoor education into your physical education. And I think that's a huge way to get more outdoor education into the system, because there's a lot more stuff physical activity that you can do outside, whereas it's a bit more limited with your maths and sciences and stuff. I mean, it works, but not for every single thing, because obviously it works when you're trying to talk about non-living and living organisms out, but it gets a little bit different if you're talking maybe about evolution or something. It's kind of hard to show things evolving just by walking outside. So to put the outdoor education in physical education, I find that usually physical education is just based all around sports, or at least in my physical education class, it was all focused around sports, where you need other stuff. You need dance, you need gymnastics, you need outdoor education, because if we're trying to push for the lifelong fitness, honestly, I know when I was in high school, I was the sports guy, because I lived in a small town, so I could basically play any sport I wanted. So, I'd play sports from September all the way till June. And, that was great. At the time, I got to play on sports teams, got to be with the guys, got to make relationships, got to learn stuff from that. So, it's important, but you need other stuff in your life too, because I know after I graduated, I kind of had a big empty hole in my life, because I could still play sports from time to time, but it was never really the same. So I think it's like you need to find a balance, because you need sports. Like it is beneficial, but eventually it kind of runs out, and then you need the stuff that outdoor education brings as well, or dance or stuff, because honestly, more times than not, you're going to be, if you're at a wedding or something, you can use your dance to get a little bit of physical activity, or there's so many stuff you can do in the outdoors that it's not organized, because we focus all on organized things, but sometimes you just need to be a little bit spontaneous and just go outside. Because I think it was really eye-opening that I read in the Louvre book. It's a little quote here I have, is that snow not only brings a chance to miss school, but it also provides a means for adventure. Snowmen, igloos, and snowball fights. But for many adults, snow is just another one of life hassles. The roads are slippery, traffic is increased, and sidewalks are ready to be shoveled. This was really crazy, because I just did a write-up the other week where I was like, oh yeah, there's no snow yet in my place, which I was kind of surprised about. But I was like, what the heck? I literally wrote about how I was like, oh, I hate snow. Snow's terrible. Like, snow just reminds me of how we had to miss all our basketball trips because the weather wasn't good. And how I always said, got to go start the car really early in the morning. You just think about all the negative connotations that comes with snow. So that really opened up to my eyes to just my attitude about the outdoors. Because, if you're always saying to your students, like, oh yeah, it sucks, it's snowing outside, blah, 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 I'm just going to sit inside all the time, then it's not going to want to stifle their creativity for going outside. And, sometimes you need that, just